Welcome. My name is Katy Simone. I'm a psychic life advisor providing life wisdom from beyond. Today I want to talk about out-of-body experiences and multidimensionality. I had a spiritual awakening in the spring of 2009, and from that I had multiple lucid out-of-body experiences. They were quite extraordinary and very different from my other dream experiences. These lucid out-of-body experiences happened when I was sleeping. I'm also going to make reference to an out-of-body experience sequence that I had early this morning upon waking up. Let me just provide some clarification for you. We all have out-of-body experiences in our dream state. When we're in this altered state of consciousness, our consciousness is actually travel to other dimensions, to other frequencies, and to other lives, our parallel lives, our concurrent lives. We all do this naturally and spontaneously in our sleep state. It is just that some human beings, and actually most human beings, just don't recall their adventures and travels. However, as we are shifting into the age of Aquarius, this new age of Aquarius, there are many people whose consciousnesses are rising. And they're shifting from being a third dimensional human being to a fifth dimensional human being. And because of this shift, they will be exposed and receive experiences with their alternate and concurrent lives. And that is exactly what has happened to me. And this started happening in 2009. When I started to raise my consciousness, I came to the realization that that there was so much more to my life than I had originally known. And this type of consciousness raising has allowed me to experience my parallel and concurrent lives. I have channeled many messages from beings of light and love. I consider myself an advanced channeler. To date, as of December 2014, I have channeled over 25 beings of light and love. These include some human beings as well, such as Mr. Edgar Cayce, renowned American psychic and spirit, Gandhi, Mr. Benjamin Franklin. I have also channeled archangels, Archangel Shamuel, Archangel Azrael, Archangel Michael, Archangel Sandalphon, Archangel Uriel, Archangel Ariel. I have channeled these divine beings as well. I have channeled other beings who have given me their nomenclature, how they would like to be referred to. And I share these channeled messages on my blog, which is part of my website, soulevolutioncenter.com, as well as on my Facebook, Soul Evolution Center, LLC. And many of these inspirational and technical messages I have received in the past year from various high-level light beings have referred to human consciousness rising, and as it does, us having the ability to experience our multidimensional lives. And so I have received validation from them, and I share these excerpts of channeled messages about multidimensionality on my Facebook page, Soul Evolution Center, and a special labeled album called Multidimensionality, if you would like to refer to that. So I found that I am a fifth dimensional being, and I have heard this telepathically very clearly in my own thought voice. I received much information telepathically since my spiritual awakening. This is also a form of clairaudiency, which is a psychic sense. And so I have heard that I am a fifth dimensional being, and that I am on the third level of the 16th level of the fifth dimension. If I had not heard this clearly myself in my own thought voice, I would not have known this was indeed the case. So this explains my experiences, my multiple experiences with my out-of-body. I've had out-of-bodies regularly throughout the whole week on a weekly basis since 2009. This morning I experienced a series of multiple out-of-body sequences. Most of my Autobodies occur spontaneously and naturally. They occur, the best times for me is when I immediately wake up in the early morning, anytime between 6 a.m. and 9 a.m. And then I fall back to sleep. Usually that initiates an out of body. Many times this is spontaneous. I don't activate it intentionally, though I have done it in the past. But this morning it happened naturally and spontaneously. And I always recognize my out of bodies because it is indeed a different experience. People may ask me, how do you know it's an out of body and not just a dream? And I don't believe there is such a thing as just a dream. I think dreams are very important and are often our multidimensional experiences. Sometimes they are not. Sometimes they are lessons for us to learn that our subconscious reveals to us. But for me, it has been that, and also my multidimensional experiences. And once you have this type of out of body, you immediately know and recognize it as being different. You wake up and you are like, wow, that was extraordinary. And that is the best way for me to describe it. One way that I recognize my out of bodies is that what happens is I become lucid in my dream state when I'm sleeping. And usually when I start seeing my third eye scape, that's what I call it, that is the term that I use, then I realize that that is a precursor to me having an out of body. Your third eye is located in the middle of your eyebrow, right along here. Your third eye is associated with your intuition and insight. Your third eye also acts as a portal to other dimensional realities, and this has been known throughout the ages. It is a gateway, and that's how I exit into these other dimensions, through my third eye. I call this exit technique the third eye exit technique, or TEET, T-E-E-T, because that's how I exit spontaneously and naturally. And this has only happened because I was able to raise my consciousness. That is how it's happened for me. So I became lucid this morning in my sleep state, and I realized I was actually in my third eye. And that is the case. You actually feel that you are standing and being physically located in your third eye. If you were to close your eyes and look at the scape or the scenery with your eyes closed as to what's in front of you, what the screen is showing you right there in front of your eyes, that is your third eye landscape. And so I found myself actually in it. I was physically located in my third eye, and it was very dark. And I knew then I was in transition. I was either going to go through an interdimensional corridor, a portal, or a wormhole like I've done before. This time I was not moving. Usually I'm moving very quickly and traveling so quickly through my third eye. As I'm traveling through my third eye, I often see wondrous light scapes, energy all around me. Sometimes I see geometric forms as I'm moving very quickly through my third eye. And again, this is in my sleep state. But this time I was just standing still. And I have done that before, but I've known from past history that I needed to protect myself. If I wasn't moving through my third eye and the landscape wasn't changing, then sometimes I get into these tricky situations. And I say this not to instill fear in you, but to let you know of the possibilities for you. Because I do feel like my role is to help people, those new risers, new people who are awakening, to understand their sleep state better so that they can manage and maneuver more adeptly. And I'm learning as I go. And I know I'm learning as I go to share with others. So hopefully some of these techniques that I share with you will help you navigate yourself when you find yourself in these situations. So I was in my third eye in the dark space, not moving. And I knew to protect myself with my intention. I said I was going to protect myself with white light. And honestly, for the first time since 2009, I did feel some kind of energy form around me, like about 6 inches to a foot out. So I do feel like I was able to put up my light shield. And I also energetically drew a Reiki symbol for power on myself to strengthen my stamina during my portal travels. And I always know that when I feel like I'm physically in my third eye, that I am in the portal and that I'm going to probably travel to another dimensional reality, because that has happened 99% of the time when I've had that experience. So I protected myself with the white light and the Reiki symbol. And then I began to feel the environment around me change in my third eye. And it felt like I was underwater, and I was underwater, and I was breathing underwater. And I was not fearful, because I've had this experience many times before. And now I know that I can breathe underwater. Sounds like it's full of fantasy, I know, but you can breathe underwater in these multidimensional experiences. So I stayed very calm. And I also learned from past out-of-body experiences that when I'm underwater, I can breathe just fine. So it's important to keep your calm. So I keep my calm. And I also realized most of the times when I'm underwater, the water is only about 2 or 3 feet deep. It's not too deep. And I also know that I need to lift my head out of the water in order to enter the next dimension. And so I did that. So this has come from my own experiences. So if you do find yourself in similar experiences during your sleep state, I encourage you to try some of my own techniques to move things along. So I lifted my head above the water, and I saw that it was broad daylight. And then I knew I had entered another dimension, because the escape had changed. It's bright, blue, sunny day, and I was still in water. I was in some kind of large river or a large lake, and I looked across the water, and I could see some small boats and people in the boats, like they were recreational boaters. And this is not unusual for me, to be in another dimension and to land in another dimension and be in a body of water. That is very common. And then I started moving very quickly in the water, and I realized that the current was taking me, and I was moving very fast, and it was actually kind of fun. I looked behind me, and I saw actually an otter swimming behind me. And I've known from my multidimensional travels that sometimes animals in these other dimensions can be intimidating, and I'm never really sure about their rules, whether these animals are wild and maybe ready to attack. So I'm very careful when I encounter animals in other dimensions. And so that's a word of advice to you as well, to stay centered and balanced, but to be ready and prepared. These are some of the things I have learned. And so this otter swam up behind me, and he was really just sniffing and getting familiar with me as a dog would do. And I do, in real life, I do love otters and seals. I think they're beautiful, cute animals, and they're one of my favorite animals. But again, I was careful during my out-of-body to be aware of this animal. So I know this sounds unbelievable, but these are some of the type of experiences you may have when you have an out-of-body. There's what I call traveling through the portal, the transition, or the corridor, and that is when you're actually in your third eye for me, and then you you are very lucid, and then you get, I don't want to say spit out, or all of a sudden the scape changes, and you see a city, a town, light, daylight. So that has been my experience. With this out-of-body, I had 4 additional sequences attached to this out-of-body, where I would go in and out, go back into the third eye portal, and then have an experience in there, and then be dropped off at another dimension, as you would say it. And you could read more about this out-of-body experience on my blog, which is soulevolutioncenter.com. And you can read more details there. I hope in sharing this that you become more educated and more aware, and also maybe look at your dreams and your sleep state differently. If you start looking at them from an angle of your multidimensional visits, you may be surprised as to what you become more aware of. And so that is my role. That is one of my functions during this earthly incarnation, is to share my multidimensional travels, and hopefully my own techniques of maneuvering will help guide others who are just experiencing them as well. Please visit my website, soulevolutioncenter.com, for free gifts and free readings. And also read more on my blog, where I share channeled messages from various light beings, and also my psychic experiences, such as my Autobody experiences. I wish you well on your spiritual evolution. I look forward to connecting with you in the near future. Namaste.